This is the ultimate Fortnite settings guide. I've looked through what all the top pros are using, and today I'm breaking it all down so you can get the best performance possible and the lowest latency. Starting off with video settings, full screen technically gives you lower system latency, but if you're like Peterbot and you prefer windowed full screen for easier alt tabbing, that's fine. Just make sure to enable this Windows setting so you don't feel much difference in latency. For frame rate limit, some pros like Veno prefer unlimited, while others prefer matching it to their monitor's refresh rate. But if you download an app called MSI Afterburner, then download RiverTuner's statistics server as well, once in game, if you then open it up, you can actually set your FPS cap inside of this. It's a much more effective method of capping your FPS to have more stable frame rates and overall less micro stuttering. While talking about monitors, you might as well check your monitor settings to see if there's any sort of overclocking option that could further increase your refresh rate. In addition, there might be a response time option too that could further lower your input delay. For rendering modes, I recommend performance because it's literally what each and every pro player is using, and what makes performance mode even better now is the fact that Nvidia Reflex actually works with it. As you can see, you no longer have to be in DirectX 12 for it to work. This, by the way, significantly reduces system latency and is a setting that nearly every top pro is using. For view distance, most players do use near, but I recommend using a higher one due to the fact you can see more items and even builds from a much longer range without much FPS difference. As for 3D resolution, if you do want to lower your res to get slightly more FPS, you can lower this slightly, but I wouldn't go lower than 75 as it gets completely unplayable. When it comes to textures, I highly recommend using lower textures as this makes a pretty big difference FPS wise. For low versus high meshes, the low meshes, as you could imagine, is a lot lower quality, equaling more FPS. But it's not just that, there's a debris animation difference too, which is much more simpler on low, and you can see that's why most pros use lower meshes. For game settings, edit on released is a highly debated setting. Peterbot uses it and he absolutely dominates with it, whereas Cold, he doesn't use it and he also dominates. So at the end of the day, it is 100% personal preference. However, if you want a full breakdown, I did make a separate video showing you how each option works. Pre-edits, these can be useful in specific situations, like the exact one that's playing on screen here, but realistically, I think most competitive players do keep this setting disabled. There's also the simple edit setting, which allows you to perform quick common edits with just one click. As you can see, it's extremely fast and great for new players and even pros, but even though it is now enabled in tournaments, I don't think that many pros do use it due to personal preference. Oh, don't forget in-game settings to turn off all the replay settings if you don't use them, as you can get a light FPS boost from that, along with disabling the energy saving modes too. Speaking of game settings, by the way, you can check out gamesettings.com for all the latest pro player settings in these three games. I'll have a link in the description below. HUD and reticle ammo indicator should be used as it gives a visual for your remaining rounds. Damage numbers should be on cumulative as it does all the math for you. Reticle damage feedback is personal preference out of these options, but most use hit only. Then you've got damage numbers scale, which can significantly help you see the amount of damage you've dealt. Oh, and for the rest of the HUD settings, if you turn off all the useless ones, you'll get a much clearer HUD. Another thing you'll see this chapter is pro players using custom crosshairs. Now, even though most of them are sponsored, you can get free apps like this on the Epic Games Store, so you know it's allowed and it's free. And to be fair, it works pretty well from my testing. For keybinds, the first thing you should do is find your Switch quickbar bind, then set it to something random that you never press, like hashtag. A lot of pros, including Veno, use this trick because it removes an edit delay bug when switching to builds. I've been wondering why pros do this for quite a while now. That's until Veno did explain why they do this in his recent video, which I will link below. After that, if you are unsure on what keybinds to use, you can either test out set 1 or set 2 as a starting point. One is using just keyboard binds and then the other has mouse binds as well. Or alternatively, you can check out what the pros are using over on game settings. Now, sensitivity, you've probably noticed that a lot of top players are running around a 6.4 sensitivity paired up with a 800 mouse DPI and a 1000 Hz pollen rate. This puts their eDPI at around 51, which confirms we are in a low sensitivity meta. However, if you guys don't know what sens to use yourselves, I do recommend staying within the range of 5.8 to 6.4 with a targeting and scope sense range between 30 and 55%. In my opinion, these ranges are really good as you get solid control both in close and long range distances. For DPI, the most common choice is 800, although some do go to 1600 to get more raw input precision, but if you are unsure, just stick to 800 as it's very consistent and reliable. For pollen rate, most pros use 1000 Hz. Even though their mice are capable of higher like 8000 Hz, you will find that higher pollen rates can be less stable and can have input issues, so sticking to 1000 Hz is just better as it's more consistent. For movement settings, here are all of the popular values are found amongst pro players. Do keep in mind though that some pros like Peterbot still do not use custom diagonal controls. For the best audio settings, you want to make sure sound quality is on high, 3D headphones are off, and visualize audio is turned on, as that's what all the pros are using. It's overpowered. Also, a lot of pros use these custom subtitle settings too. Next, for the Nvidia Optimizations, just like the pros, it's really important to use the latest drivers. These days, you'll not really find much downside. In my experience, I've downloaded the latest driver within a week, and honestly, it's been really stable and I've had no issues. However, for a lot of people, when they're installing a fresh driver, they'll use this tool on screen. It's a free app that removes Nvidia bloatware by allowing you to customize and select what driver components you want installed, removing certain bloatware like this on screen. Another thing I've seen more and more pro players do is use the Nvidia overclock tool that allows you to overclock your GPU in one single click, which Nvidia state that once you do enable it, they'll perform a scan to test your graphics card's capabilities over the course of 10 to 20 minutes. They recommend that you leave your PC idle while this is performed. Then once the scan has finished and your GPU has been overclocked, you can expect similar results to this on screen, where you can see you'll get improved clock speeds and in turn higher FPS. With minimal risk too, as Nvidia state that automatic tuning won't damage your GPU, nor will it void your warranty. The worst thing that can happen really is your PC becoming unstable, which if it does, you can simply deactivate the overclock by literally just unselecting it and it'll go back to normal. Next, you want to head into the Nvidia control panel, go into manage 3D settings, and you want to copy all of my settings that are set up in this video on screen in the manage 3D section. Aside from that though, if you do then select your main gaming monitor, then select full screen and make sure a GPU is selected with the highest refresh rate possible. Oh, another thing that pros tend to do is increase their digital vibrance. This makes the game colors pop a lot more, so they're a lot more like brighter and just overall vibrant. Now let's move on to some basic and advanced Windows optimizations, starting off with a system restore point. Even though I doubt you'll need it, it's better to be safer than sorry. For most people, around 10 gigabytes should be more than enough. After that, it'll create one in case you do need to roll back for any reason. From there, open up the run box and type in system properties performance.exe, and this will open up the visual effects tab. If you click on adjust for best performance, you'll notice it unchecks all the settings, but what we need to do is tick these 5 essential ones to get the basic functionality from Windows. It's just more stripped down without the animations and stuff like that. Next, you want to go into gaming under game bar, make sure this is disabled. Captures too, I like to go ahead and turn this off, and we've got game mode. This is something I really like and I do use now these days, as I feel like it does make my frame rate more stable. From there below, if you go into graphics, if you see this setting called hardware accelerated GPU scheduling, you want to turn it on to reduce system latency and improve performance. Oh, and if you click on browse here and find the client itself, this is the name of it, you'll see that it's on the list. If you click options and select high performance, this will prioritize your GPU over integrated graphics, which as you can imagine you want to do. From there, we're going to type in services, and basically what we're going to do in here is disable some of the services to lower our overall processes in Windows. Now if you do actually use this, you obviously don't want to do it, but if you literally just right click on it, go into its properties, then head into the startup type and disable it, that's literally all you need to do to disable a process/service. If you want the ultimate performance power plan, just simply open up the command prompt, run it as administrator, then insert this command line that I'll have in the description below. Once done, you can go into the edit power plan settings, and then there'll be a drop down where you'll see the new ultimate performance power plan, so you can then select it, test it out, and if you do have any issues, you can just revert back to the default balanced power plan. After that, a thing you can do is head into the task manager and look in performance. To your surprise, the uptime may be very high, like some of these examples are on screen, like some are just ridiculous, and the reason it's it's so high is because of a fast start feature in Windows, which you can disable without it being permanent in the settings. All you have to do is hold shift, then press the shutdown in the start menu, and that right there will turn it from being a high uptime to being on 0. It'll basically reset it, and I like to do this every now and then. And before you do go, check out any of my other videos that are on screen right now.